As Compass got the contract, some of the staff in existing hospital kitchens lost their jobs, of course. One of them is fighting for a $30,000 payout while undergoing kidney dialysis every 4 hours. On Monday, Checkpoint brought you the story of 10 women who'd worked at Auckland's Middlemore Hospital, who all took redundancy from Compass based on the knowledge their settlement would include a gratuity payment for very long service. A year on, they're still waiting for those gratuity payments worth about $30,000 each. The Labour Party calls their treatment disgusting and wants Compass to pay up. One of the women, Nora Manu, is struggling to make ends meet. She spoke to our reporter Alex Ashton.
Nora Manu's kidneys are failing. Every day she's hooked up to a dialysis machine in her Otara home. She can't go far because every 4 hours during the day she has to return for more dialysis.
Until 10:30 at night, and then I go to sleep. And then I wake up in the morning and do the same thing.
Nora Manu worked for Middlemore Hospital for 37 years. Last July she took redundancy, on the grounds her contract entitled her to both a redundancy payout and a $32,000 gratuity payment to say thank you for her decades of service. But a year on, she's still waiting for that payment. How do you make ends meet? How do you pay the bills?
We only living on my husband's wages. Sometimes, we're trying to catch up, pay up our bills, but we can't.
What did your husband do?
He's a bus driver.
Mrs. Manu's son and 5 grandchildren also live with her. Her son and 1 granddaughter work, but the family struggles to make ends meet.
We've got mortgage to pay, plus our food. Sometimes not enough money for us to, buy some food.
The household's power bill alone every month is $700, largely because of her dialysis machine. She says the money she's owed by Compass would make a huge difference.
Put some on our mortgage. What else? Pay my bills off and help us paying my power and look after myself too,
Nora Manu's been waiting for a kidney transplant for the past 4 years. She's not sure where the process is at the moment, and because she has to return home to her dialysis machine every 4 hours, she can't work. Labour's health spokesperson Annette King has previously met with the women involved. She calls their treatment disgusting and says Compass is ignoring their decades of service and their contractual entitlements.
They forgot about that in their own self-interest, and it's time for them to sit down and pay up and pay out for these women whose rights they are ignoring.
An employment advocate, Danny Gelb, says he's never come across a clause like this because most gratuity payments were written out of contracts long ago.
What I'd really like to know is, on what legal basis is the employer arguing they don't have a liability to pay out under these circumstances? It appears in black and white that for employees that are retiring their employment, that have had no less than 10 years of service with the employer, then there's a schedule of how many days gratuity pay they are to receive.
Nora Manu has a message for Compass.
I just want them to pay me, because I need the money, just to help me out.
And your grandchildren?
My grandchildren, yeah.
And in the meantime, it's an anxious wait. For Checkpoint, Alex Ashton.
So how does Compass see this situation? They wouldn't discuss the issue of the economics of these contracts, but just over an hour ago, the company's Human Resources Director, Marian Etches, spoke to our reporter, Alex Ashton, about these 10 redundancies from Middlemore. She told him the dispute is still in mediation, but hopes to have it settled soon. She says Compass is simply seeking a fair interpretation of what is a complex contract.
It's actually over correct interpretation of the contract clauses.
So what does that mean? What are the different interpretations?
I can't really talk about that because we are in a mediation process, so the mediation discussions has to remain private. But really, what we're talking through is what the contract terms are and how that's interpreted and what's appropriate. So we want to get a conclusion and ensure that we work through this carefully in fairness to everyone involved.
Would an ideal conclusion for Compass be not paying, or what does Compass want here?
Compass wants us to do the right thing. So from our perspective, it's important that contractual terms are interpreted correctly and that we comply with obligations from there. So that absolutely remains our focus.
Okay, and just lastly, before you talked about you want a solution that's fair, is that fair for Compass or is that fair for the women?
Oh, look, that's fair in terms of doing the right thing.
By who?
Yeah, in terms of the contractual interpretation and ensuring that we listen to all sides of the discussion and that we make the right decision.